Hey, Hot Pursuit Nation! How's everybody doing? Melissa West here, super excited for today's free training. I'm waiting for a couple of you to jump on, super excited. So, as you're jumping on and joining me here, please just put in the comments below your name, where you're joining in from, so just I can give you a shout out and say hello. Sometimes as I'm doing these trainings, I can't watch the feed as fast as I would like, but please still give me a shout out, say hello, put your name where your name will show up with your profile, but just where you're dialing in from. I guess you're not dialing in, where you're connecting from. Just excited to have you here. So today, what I'm going to be covering is I'm going to just give you a kind of a sneak peek behind the scenes of how I manage my one-on-one coaching files as well as my notes. Now, this may not be something that's like rocket science. It might not be something that's all that complicated, really. But, I've been a coach. I'm in my 10th year of business. I've worked with thousands of people all over the world. I have a passion for one-on-one coaching. Not only am I a certified professional coach through IPEC, which I think a lot of you who are either watching this video now or who will be catching the replay, you are also IPEC coaches. Many of you who are also watching are John Maxwell team coaches. I myself am certified, was a faculty member for 5 years. I'm also a life success consultant. I'm also a certified strategic interventionist. Needless to say, I love studying coaching. Not only studying it, but now obviously in my business, applying it and using it, all the great information, all the great tools that I have in my toolbox. So in these last 10 years, I've for myself perfected my own system. I found a way to just be more efficient, be more effective, kind of streamline how I do things. It allows me to just be real quick and more, like I said, just more efficient and effective with working with my clients. I find myself spending less time thinking about where a file is or what they're working on or how I can help them. Hopefully what I share with you today might be of use and helpful to you. Again, it's not rocket science. Many of you might already be doing a lot of what I'm going to be sharing with you today. Maybe I'll just give you some ways to kind of tweak it or fine tune it. And if you're brand new to coaching, this will be something that I wish I had, because really nobody taught. I don't remember ever being taught like how to manage my files or my notes with my clients. Like obviously I was being taught how to coach, not so much how to handle the file side of coaching. And the notes side of coaching. Hopefully this will be helpful to you. And if it is, obviously give me lots of thumbs up, give me some feedback as we're going along the way, just so I know that this is helpful and valuable. Okay, so I see lots of you jumping on, so I just want to say hello real quick before we get in. So I see, hey Missy, hey David, hey Pear, hey Rachel, hey Doris. Great to see all of you on today. Welcome, welcome. You are all fabulous coaches. I know you are. So I hope that this training allows you to just serve your clients even better. And yeah, it will help you serve your clients even better. And it's also going to serve your business. And I'm going to show you why. And so let's get to the goodies. Let's get to the details of my coaching filing system and my note-taking system. Now, again, let me just preface this. It's not rocket science. And this is the system that works for me. So take what works, this is the buffet approach. Take what you like, take what works for you, and then what you don't like or what doesn't work for you, you just leave it at the buffet. You don't need to take any of that. You're going to see that my process is quite manual because I like to handwrite everything. And I like it that way. So if you're that way too, you're going to really like my system. If not, and you're more the electronic type, hey, you can really take a lot of what I'm doing, but just convert it over to doing it on a tablet or on your computer. You can transfer it to your own style in your own ways, okay? All right, so first things first. Here's what you need. As soon as that client signs the contract, as soon as they say, yes, I want to work with you, the first two things that I grab is this. I grab a blank manila file folder and my trusty label maker. Now, I'm the type of person who labels my label maker. Actually, I should label. I don't have. Actually, the case is labeled, but not the actual label maker. I like a label maker. It makes things pretty and neat. Sometimes my handwriting isn't the best, so I like a label maker. You don't have to have a label maker. You can just write on your files, but I like to make a label maker. So, anyways, when a client signs on, these are the first two things I grab, and here's what I do. And I'm actually going to take the camera off and show you. So bear with me here. Let me make sure that this works. So give me a second. Let me flip the camera here and show you the desk. Okay, so here we go. So a client signs on and I grab my label maker and here's what I put on my folder. Obviously their name. This is a made up person, by the way, so I'm not violating any I'm not violating any confidentiality or contracts by showing you this. But I create a label that has their name, but also the month and the year. And the reason why this is so important to me is because, one, it tells me when they started working with me, as well as, the month and the year that they started working with me. Now, again, why this is so important to me is because I want to know how long a client has been with me. And it's come up so many times where, I'm working with a client and I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, we've been working together. How long have we been working together? and I can just quickly look at the file and go, wow, we've been working together for 6 months, or wow, we've been working together for a year, or wow, look at how much transformation has taken place in just 4 months. And so when I have that date right there that shows exactly when we started working together, it allows me to reference that even throughout the coaching relationship and say, wow, look at what you've done in just the 2 short months we've been working together. Or even the first month, wow, look at all that you've created and all that you've done. So I really like having the year, the month and the year right there on the tab, right on that file. The other reason that I like having the month and the year on the file, right on the tab, is because at the end of the year, I can pull out all my 2008 clients and I can see, wow, look, I worked with, 60 clients this year, or I worked with 10 clients this year, or whatever, however many clients you have. If you have the year right on the tab, it allows you to real easily count how many clients you've had that year, or even just how many clients you've had each month. Now, again, this might, to some of you, be a painful manual process, but for me, that's how I operate. That's how I roll. So that month and year is actually really valuable to both while I'm talking to the client, as well as while I'm just taking my own metrics and stats for my own business. Okay, so that is a very strategic tab with the month and the year there. Then I have a few numbers here. Now, obviously, I don't know, you're not going to need like 3 numbers for your client, but if your client has multiple contact numbers, obviously it's important I keep them right on the front of the file, because as soon as I grab this file out of my filing cabinet, because I'm going to work with Joy, I just look, okay, this one's starred, that's the one I'm calling her on. I don't have to think about it. Am I calling her cell? Am I calling her office? Oh, she's out of town, I'm supposed to be calling her office this week. Like, I don't like to think about all that stuff. So if I just put star the number, again, these are made up numbers. If I just star the number that I'm going to call, then it makes it really easy. Don't even need to think about it. Now, some of my clients, we use free conferencing. That's what the FC is for. We use free conferencing and we actually record our calls. Not all of my clients want to do that or request that, but if my clients are open to that, we'll use a free conferencing line. Now here, again, very strategically, I have the number, but I also have the host code and the participant code. Now, I dial in on the host code, they dial in on the participant code number. The reason why I keep both of them there is because most likely if they forgot what the number is, they're going to ask me for the participant code, but I don't use that number. I use this number, but I keep them both there because if they're going to ask, that's the one I give. I give them this number and this number. But I use this one. So make sure you have both your access code, but you also want your client's access code, because most likely it's not going to be the same as yours. Now, some of you might be using like a Zoom service, and so you might have the Zoom link or something like that, or the Zoom link and code if you use Zoom or Skype or something like that. But however you contact and call your client, have that right here on the front of the file, star the one that you use, so that when you pull this file out, you don't need to be, oh, what's their number? Where's their number? What? Look it up in your phone or look it up in your calendar. It's right there. You don't even have to think about it. So those are the kind of things that I like, because it makes things real mindless for me that I don't need to think about, and I don't have to waste time trying to, find their number or anything like that. So that's kind of the front of my filing system that works really well for me, keeps me organized. I don't get lost or anything trying to find their number, and it helps me with my own stats for clients, as well as helping me connect the client back to their wins and their transformation in the time that we've been working together. Okay, so that is the front of the file. How was that? Give me a thumbs up. Was that helpful? Maybe a heart. Again, not rocket science, but some of these simple little things that might just help you be a little bit more strategic as you are working with your clients. Okay, now let's go inside. So once my client, now I'm going to work with my client, and so here's what I do. And now I don't want to overwhelm you, so I'm just going to take this sheet. Just going to take this. I can grab it, and we'll come back to the inside. Now, obviously, I made these notes up because I can't, for confidentiality reasons, I can't show you real notes from a client. But this is kind of the gist of how I take my notes with my coaching clients. And here's my little 4-color pen. Obviously, I did this in marker just so it would stand out more. But this 4-color pen, many of you use a 4-color pen as well, or you just like color. I like color. It helps me just stay organized, and visually, I know the things that I'm looking for in certain color. So if you like a 4-color pen, or you like highlighters or markers or whatever, for me, it helps me stay organized in my notes. Again, I use this is all a very manual process. If you were doing this on the computer or on your tablet or something like that, kind of the same thing. You can use different colors, different text, what have you, to help you stay organized. Okay, so here's the format that I use. So the minute I get a client and we're going to do a new session, obviously this starts out as a blank sheet of paper. And so before the session even starts, what it just has their name, the date, the number session we're on. Normally my clients, they buy a package. So if they're buying a 6-session package or a 12-session package, this tells me, okay, we're on session 3, or we're on session 5, or we're on session 11, and this is our last, or we're on session 12, it's our last one. So I really like to know what session number we're on. And then I just put up here, I just put notes, and then as the session is going through, so this is normally blank, but as the session is going on, if they mention their age, like they'll say, oh, I'm celebrating my 45th birthday this Saturday, or blah, 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 I'll take note of their age, because obviously I don't ask them that in the intake session or in any, any other part of the process. I don't ask them their age. But if they tell me their age, I'm going to tell them. If they tell me their kids or their kids' names or their kids' ages, I write that down as well. If they're grown kids and they're out of the house, I still write that down. If they're married or not married, if they're, even the name of their spouse, I'll write that down. Again, I don't ask these things in the intake. Obviously, if it's relevant to the conversation or the coaching session, I may ask it. But, those are things that I'm going to jot down more specifically if they're forthcoming with that information. But I also, I definitely, for those of you who know the DISC profiling system, if they're like, oh, yeah, I'm a high D or I'm an IS, I definitely write down their DISC profile, because to me that just really helps me understand them. It helps me communicate better with them. And I like to keep that up at the top, because if they are a C, I may ask different questions than if they're a D or an I. So having that right at the top of the page here really helps me just make sure that my questions that I'm asking are relevant to their personality type. And it helps me reference, if somebody is 25 years old versus somebody who's 65 years old, I may ask a question differently depending on their age. If they have kids or not, or are they married or not, I may ask a question differently than I would versus somebody who is single. So knowing that information for me is really important, because it helps me frame the rest of the questions and how we navigate through the rest of the coaching session. Sometimes even their strengths and their limitations. If they talk about something they're really good at and it's a strength of theirs, or they talk about something there is a limitation, maybe a weakness they're not really good at, I like to keep those things front and center because I'm going to reference those. I'm going to use that as we navigate through the coaching session. Okay, so that's just some key information that I like to keep right up at the top as we're going through the session. I like to fill that in. Okay, so then once we start with our session, so I kind of use these, I use like little letters throughout that help me stay organized, as well as just kind of quick acronyms here. I guess is an acronym one letter? Maybe not, but here we go. Okay, so W are wins. We always start the session with, give me an update. How was your week? What went well? Tell me, what are the things you accomplished? What are the things, where did you move the needle? Those types of questions. What are you celebrating? So I'll jot down with a W, green, right? I get out my little colored pen here and I get out my green and I jot down what their results-based wins are. So I'm really looking for what was the result? What was the outcome that qualifies that as a win? Okay? So I'm going to, whatever, they might have 1, they might have 2, they might have 6, who knows, but I'm just capturing their wins, and it's in the green color. Then, my G here is, what is your goal for the session? Or what is the focus? What would you like to focus on in this session? And so I like to also keep that up at the top there of what their goal is, what their focus is for this session, what's the outcome they'd like to achieve in this session for today. I keep that goal, that specific focus and outcome right here at the top. Then, coach, question. I'm taking notes. Specifically, I wrote down just a couple things here. You guys are all coaches, you're trained, so you don't really need me to tell you this. But, as you're going through your session and as you're asking questions, these are, I'm capturing what their gremlins are, their assumptions, their interpretations, their limiting beliefs, just their beliefs in general, even if they're not limiting, but even if they're empowering beliefs, their values, their needs. If there's certain words, specific words or language or phrases or quotes that they use all the time, I'm jotting that down. Notes about their self-image, about their emotions, their motivators. I mean, this is just coaching 101, right? So I'm capturing all that. But then as we're going through this BT, these are their breakthroughs. Okay, so breakthroughs. And these are the things I love. This is where, if you can see my handwriting here, this is where there's a transformational shift. A new belief, a new perception, a new way of thinking, operating, feeling. This I definitely record, and I'm going to record that one for sure in a red, or even if I have a separate pink or highlighter or something, I'm going to capture that because these are really big. So breakthroughs that pop up of the transformational shift, a new belief. I'm gonna definitely want to highlight those in my notes, and I'll show you in a minute why that is so important. Okay, so coaching 101, highlight your breakthroughs that are taking place for your client. Then as you go through the session, for me, I like to then at the end in red, identify what are their action items that they are committing to. And that just gets an A, circle, and then their action item that they're committing to. Usually, there's more than one. So jotting those down. And then MWA, that's my action item, Melissa West action. Melissa West, yes, I sometimes get homework. So let's say I need to send a client a link to something or a book that we referenced in our session, or I need to follow up with them on something, or when I ask the question of how can I best support you in these action items, if there's something they need me to do or want me to do, hey, I get homework too. So that's what the MWA is. That is my homework, okay? Now, sometimes I will actually even go back over and highlight these in yellow, like the action items, just so they really, really stand out. But again, I like color, I like highlighters. Do what you would do, this, a system that works for you. If you're all like a black pen or just a blue pen or just to type it out, and that's cool for you, and you remember things easily, then you don't need all this color and highlighting. But I like it. It's pretty. And hey, I've had 2 babies, so I forget what I had for lunch, and so I forget real quickly what I need to do, and so I need to be reminded, and I need that to be highlighted. Okay, makes sense? Is that helpful? Give me a thumbs up, give me a heart, give me something if this was just kind of a nice little organized way to keep your notes for your clients. Again, you probably do, if you've been coaching at all, you probably do something similar to this. Maybe you do exactly this, who knows? But, if you even got one thing out of this, give me a thumbs up. Awesome. Okay, so now let's go on the inside of the file. Okay. Oh, let me just say one more thing here. Regarding these check-ins, or these action items, what I like to do with my clients is, so if we're talking every other week or even every week, I still like to check in with them. So I might send them an email, I might send them a text that's just checking in with them. And what I do is I just open up the file, see what they're working on, and I'll check in on them and say, hey, how are you doing with this? Hey, how are you doing with your, you said you were going to work on this. How are you doing on that? And so it gives me a really easy, quick way to check in on them and automatically know what they're working on when I have their action items right here highlighted. And then if I go, oops, I forgot to do mine, then then I can go do my action item as well. So when I do check-ins, I usually look right here. Or if they have had a really big breakthrough, I might even reference that breakthrough and say, how are you doing with that? What new insight, what new thoughts, experiences have happened since this major breakthrough that we had in our last session. So those things highlighted for me make it really easy and effective for me to check in with them real quickly. Okay, let's look at the inside. So here's my folder right on the inside of the file. I actually use this as prime real estate for me for capturing some really valuable information on my clients. So as you can see, real simple, date and the number session, right? Date, number, session. What I like to transfer onto the inside of this file are their wins. Okay, so I'm taking off these notes and I'm just real quickly writing the wins here. Now I might abbreviate, I might not write out the whole thing, but I at least capture it and the date so I can always reference these notes again if I want to get more detail on what happened with that win. But I like to have the win here, the breakthrough for sure. If they had a breakthrough in that session, I like to capture that right there in my notes. And I also like to capture the time, the duration of the session. Now, I normally, my sessions are 1 hour. And I usually tell my client that, sometimes they'll go up to 90 minutes. And the reason I say that is because there's been, especially I've learned over time, that first session with my clients usually runs long. So it usually runs the full 90 minutes. But normally it's 60 minutes. Sometimes we'll go over a little bit. We'll go, 75 minutes. But here's why I like to capture this, for 2 main reasons why I capture this. Number one is for just my coach log. For those of you who are looking to get like specific accreditations or certifications that require a certain amount of logged coaching hours, if you log it here, it makes it really easy to tally it up. Now, again, you can take this and put it into a spreadsheet really easily. And if you do it every week or every month, you can do it really easily versus having to go back through all your files and all your clients and add up all the hours that you've been coaching. It just makes it really easy if you log it right there, and then you can transfer it over to a spreadsheet. Okay, so that's one reason, is just for my own coach log. But the other reason that I like to capture the time and the duration of how long I work with a client in each session is because I start to notice trends. Just like I said, that first session tends to run long. Just because it's our first session, we're kicking off, we're really digging in, diving in deep. So that session tends to run long. And, and I notice other trends that happen along the way with clients as well. And I notice even with wins and breakthroughs, there's kind of an ebb and flow with a coaching client, and there might be a dip in wins. And that's usually where after a good, 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes they hit a wall, they hit a plateau, and they aren't able to identify and acknowledge their wins. And so I noticed that trend. And so sometimes what I may do, even before we hit that wall, I may start building up their confidence and building up and reminding them of all the transformation that's taken place in the previous 4 to 6 weeks, so that I almost am anticipating that dip, that hopefully I can help them find the confidence to shorten that dip, slow, make it real quick dip and get right out of it. If anything, even eliminate the dip altogether. But if I notice trends, then I can start to anticipate the journey my client is going through. And to me, how I see it is I'm able to serve them even better if I know what's coming that they don't even know what's coming. So identifying the time, the wins, the breakthroughs allows me to see the trends, the ebb and flows with the client, and really allows me to serve them best as they're navigating through their own journey. Okay. The other reason why this is so powerful for your business is that when you're looking for testimonials, where do you go? Here. When you're looking for even just acknowledging your client on, wow, look at what you've done, and you're wanting them to sign up for another 6-session package or another 12 session package or 6-month or year or whatever, when you can help them see all of the wins and all of the breakthroughs that they've had, guess where you go? It's all right here. When you're, again, looking for testimonials and you don't know, you go right here. It's all right there. That's going to help you with testimonials on your marketing materials, on your sales pages. I mean, even when you're talking and you're telling stories about your clients, you can look right here. And then of course for that client as well, we need to be reminded of our wins. So quickly we marginalize our wins, we marginalize our growth and our transformation, and we're on to the next thing because it didn't happen fast enough or it wasn't big enough. And when we can cause them to slow down a little bit and celebrate and acknowledge the wins and the breakthroughs that they've had, boy, oh boy, they can really start to acknowledge and see the value in our coaching. Sometimes they may not achieve the exact goal or may not completely achieve the exact goal that they came to us with. But when we can start to see how the needle's been moving and how they are progressing in the right direction, or that they've achieved things that they didn't even anticipate they were going to achieve, they had wins that they didn't even plan on having, that can be really powerful in helping our clients see the value in coaching with us. So having it all right here makes it really simple and easy to reference. And, again, you're not having to flip through all your notes and trying to flip through all your W's and all your BTs to find that information, but rather you already have it summarized and captured right here. Now, again, I like to handwrite it. You can put this into a file, electronic, and you can type it out. Whatever suits you. But for me, when I'm working with a client, I like to, as much as I can, unplug from the electronic world. I don't want to be on Facebook. I don't want to have emails popping up. I don't even want to be on my computer. I just want my pen, my paper, and to be either on the phone or Zoom or video or whatever, and totally present with that client. And so that's why, I've really incorporated just a fully manual process here with note taking, and then I can transfer the necessary information over to an electronic file once I'm done with the actual session. Okay. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up. Does this summary page on the inside, is that helpful to you? Give me a thumbs up. You can also type questions here as I'm talking. I know I'm just talking fast. I'm not really checking in with you guys so much. I'm sorry. If you have questions or thoughts, comments about any of what I'm sharing here, please jot them in the comment section. Again, I don't think this is rocket science. I think if anything, it's just helping you fine tune and tweak your own process. And maybe you're already doing this, and so it's just confirmation that, hey, great minds think alike. Okay, so that's really it. Oh, one other last thing. So once I have, my files of my clients, and after I'm done with the session, I usually don't have more than, I don't know, I like to have maybe between like 4 and 5 clients at a time. So I don't really, my one-on-one coaching practice it isn't my main source of income or my main source in my business, but it is, it definitely is one of them. And anyway, so when if I have, 5 clients, when I put this file back into my filing cabinet, I'm putting this one at the back of the 5 files. So this one's going to go in the back, and then the front file is going to be whoever my next client is. So the rotation, is always that my next client is at first, and the client that I just had goes in the back. So again, I'm not sure if that's, a major detail, but for me, it just, again, keeps me focused, prepared, organized by just having always the first client in my filing cabinet is my next client. And then the last file in the filing cabinet is the client that I just had a session with. So, I can always just grab the next file. I don't have to, this one of these things where you got to flip through all the files. Nope, don't need to do that. I just grab the first one. It's all right there. So again, it's all about efficiency, being more effective, streamlining things, turning it into more of a system that works for you. And that works for me. Hey, if it saves me 5 seconds, I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay, let me flip this camera around here. All right, let me have a seat here because I was standing over my table here. Okay, so that is kind of in a nutshell, not kind of, it is in a nutshell, how I manage and manage all of my one-on-one clients, all of my notes, and my filing system. And it works for me. Like I said, it's the buffet approach today. Take what you like, leave the rest. And hopefully this has been helpful to you in, just fine tuning and tweaking your own system. And if you don't have a system, hopefully this is a great place to start for you. All right, let me see. Do I have any questions that anyone has? No, I don't. All right. So, oh wait, maybe I do. Oh yeah. Oh, I see all these notes. Sorry, I didn't see all those. Let me just read through these. If you're out traveling, do you bring your client files with you, or you file? No, I bring, if I'm traveling, I usually have with me, my briefcase or like a bag that has my computer in it and my notebooks and stuff like that. So, I'll grab 2, 3, 4 files, depending on if I'm working with all clients, the amount of time that I'm gone. But again, for me, it's about being present with my client. So the more I can just have my paper and handwrite things, that's to me the way that I can best serve my clients. So I'd rather bring some files with me than, I don't know, even just typing on a computer. Again, this is me. It's not to judge anybody who does it this way. But for me, if I'm typing on a computer while I'm listening to somebody, it's a distraction to me, but I think it's also a distraction to them too. I don't know, even hearing, like clicking. So I'll bring files with me. Absolutely. All right. Hey, Rachel's a manual girl as well. Awesome. Yep. No, I love it. I love it as well. All right. Any other questions that I want to see here? What is this? The style I would be without a visual learning. Yeah. Okay, great. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, that's really it. Again, if you have questions or any thoughts that come up even after this video, please feel free to comment either in this video or even on this page. Welcome. We have a handful of new members as well, so welcome to the group. These are the kind of trainings that I do and I put together. I just feel like I look back on when I started out as a coach and what are the things that no one ever taught me, or I had to learn my own, the hard way, learn on my own, or even just things that I've learned over time that maybe are being taught out there, and I've just found a way or a system that I feel is really amazing. So those are the kind of things that I'm going to share over on this page and in this group. I always am welcome your suggestions as well. So if there's a topic or an idea or a question that you have, feel free to post those as well. So hope you enjoyed it. give me a thumbs up, give me a heart. Also, if you know any other coaches, trainers that could benefit from these types of trainings, you can go ahead, drop me a message, let me know, and or let them know and ask, they can go ahead and join the group or ask, and I can reach out to them as well to join. Okay. Oh, here's somebody's asking, can you talk about DISC a bit? Oh yeah. Do you ever ask a client to complete the profile? I do, and I have. Most of my clients, because I work with coaches, most of my clients are coaches, that they've already taken their DISC profile and they already know what their DISC profile is and they understand DISC at some level. They might not be like DISC certified, but they at least have an understanding of what DISC is and they've taken the profile. So most times I don't need to send out a profile to the assessment. And I can just ask them. I'll say, hey, what's your DISC profile? And they'll say, oh, I'm a high IID, and they know right away. So if your clients don't know DISC or they've never taken the assessment before, yeah, you might have to send them the profile assessment so that you can, you and them can better understand their personality, why they do what they do, why they don't do, what they want to be doing. Okay, I think that's it. Anything else? All right. Well, have an amazing rest of your day and week. Go be awesome. Chase your dreams with passion. That's what we're all about here in the Hot Pursuit Nation. And if I can be of any further service to you, just let me know. All right. Mwah. Love you. Have an amazing day. Bye.